Hey, you got a water bottle next to you? Also, quick posture check. Hey guys, Shazam here again. And since I haven't been on in, almost more than a year actually, I've gotten pretty rusty, haven't done any research, but still almost omniscient anyway, so doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna start with something simple. As most of you know, I've made some quite bold statements about a lot of things in Naruto, 90% absolutely true, while the rest is, well, less true because I'm never wrong. This won't be very bold, but I'll try not to disappoint. So the Rasenshuriken. There is a whole arc explaining this jutsu, and in essence, this jutsu is perfect. No, that doesn't make it the strongest or with no setbacks or downsides. I mean, there are even stronger versions of it, like this, and whatever the hell this is that's been lost to time in Boruto. It's perfect in the sense of what ninjutsu is or is supposed to be, which is shape manipulation and nature transformation. It's a near impossible skill to learn that Naruto managed to do it only because of his large chakra reserves, which allows him to use shadow clones and train thousands of times more in the same amount of time. Let's take this one step at a time. First off, Rasengan, or spiraling sphere, made of pure condensed chakra. It is described as the highest form of chakra shape manipulation. It has the ability to deal massive internal damage upon impact. As for its nature transformation, there's something everybody needs to understand. As simple as the concept of nature transformation is in Naruto, it's still one of the most complicated topics there. Not only because each element counters and interacts with other elements differently, but they all have different functions. For example, did you know that Chidori is a more capable jutsu of killing enemies than Rasengan? That's because even if the Rasengan is stronger than Chidori, the Chidori's function is still a blade, whereas the Rasengan seems to be more of a jutsu to incapacitate an enemy. Well, that depends on the size, because holy crap. With that being said, wind nature transformation is typically used to enhance blades like with Asuma, or just create blades out of wind like with Danzo. And of course, the topic of the Rasenshuriken as well. The shuriken shape of it is just a collection of microscopic wind blades surrounding it that when comes in contact with the enemy, it destroys their cells from the inside. When it was first developed, the jutsu had the setback of being extremely close range and damage the user, plus the destructive power wasn't perfect. All these downsides amount to making it only 50% complete, according to the data book at least. That is until Naruto managed to obtain Sage Mode, activating his body and making it strong enough to withstand it, plus the ability to throw it at long distances, plus being able to expand it, and plus making it perfect Rasenshuriken. So one thing I need everybody to understand. If something is perfect, that means any change in it, as long as we consider the Rasenshuriken at the same size, will either weaken it or have no effect on it. So yes, I do think even if Naruto was in KCM and used the Rasenshuriken of the same size he used on Pain, the Sage Rasenshuriken would still be stronger. Now that we're done explaining what it is, can we all just think of all the times the Rasenshuriken landed successfully? Well, not really, only two will suffice. When it landed on Kakuzu and when it landed on Pain, because it was kind of the same in every other instance. When it landed on Kakuzu, he was obviously demolished by it, but there was almost no visible damage. Well, that's because as we've established, it does damage on a cellular level. Yeah, there, I got it. So one isn't necessarily able to see it. But then, you got the human path. He got almost completely disintegrated by it. Why's that? Well, from my observation, the difference between him and Kakuzu is that Kakuzu was hit by the Rasengan, whereas Pain was hit by the wind that surrounds the Rasengan. That made me think about how the Rasenshuriken actually works, because that doesn't look like cellular damage to me. Very macro if you ask him. But unfortunately you can't, because he's dead. So the reason is, he was caught in the middle of all the blades, so despite the fact that he was getting shredded, he was still showing no emotion, even though Pain was shown to show emotion sometimes. That's because the blades were cutting him up cell to cell until there was nothing left of him. Well, there was a face, but come on. As for Kakuzu, how does getting hit with a Rasengan make it purely cellular damage? Why didn't he get chopped to bits? That's cause the way Kakuzu was hit allowed the wind to work with the Rasengan in its center. Think about it. The Rasengan does massive internal damage. When Kakuzu is hit, it explodes, and then he is taking countless attacks to the cells that even Kakashi couldn't track. My guess is that the Rasengan, which does massive internal damage, acts as a pathway for the wind to enter and completely cuts the cells inside, making the Rasenshuriken a true combination jutsu of two concepts. Another person got hit by the blades but was fine, and that's the third Raikage. I mean, it's obvious why, but I guess I'll say it. That's because the wind came in contact with the lightning armor first, and since his lightning armor is OP, it managed to withstand the Rasenshuriken and at least until it exploded. Remember, the Rasengan doesn't have to come in contact with anything to explode. Naruto didn't really think he would get up despite having little to no visible damage, because the Rasenshuriken isn't really supposed to do visible damage. And am I the only one who noticed that the wind is still present in all the Biju Rasenshuriken, including other elements? Wind must be a really effective nature transformation to add to the Rasengan, I suppose. Anyway, this video probably wasn't as fun or informative as I'd hoped, but I personally enjoyed this thought and wanted to share it. In the end, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like and subscribe, please. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Also, stay hydrated.